West Coast. My name is Josh Breslow, and we are coming on just a little bit earlier today because we do have this breaking news that we are following out of Orlando, Florida. What you're looking at on your screen is a live image coming in out of downtown Orlando, and this is from our Fox 35 Orlando team. Do want to pop this up full so you can get a better look at the situation as the photographer there is zooming in on that crime scene tape. Here is what we know from a news conference that just wrapped up with Orlando police. They do say there are 8 people that were shot as a large crowd was gathered there in the downtown area. Now, sadly, 2 people have been pronounced dead, 6 others taken to a hospital where they are listed as, quote, stable. We know that a shooting suspect was taken into custody over in the area of Washington and Orange, if you are familiar with the area. And a 17-year-old man is in custody in connection with this. We are told that suspect had been previously arrested last year for grand theft. Again, all of this information coming in moments ago from Orlando Police. I do want to start us off here with that news conference again from Orlando Police Chief just moments ago.
The Orlando Police Department is currently investigating a shooting with multiple victims in downtown Orlando. At approximately 1:07 a.m., officers reported shots fired at Central Boulevard and Orange Avenue. Within minutes, a second report of shots fired was called in south of Washington Street on Orange Avenue. At this time, we are aware of 8 total victims. 2 are now deceased. 6 other individuals who were shot were transported to ORMC for further treatment. Those victims are currently in stable condition. Shortly after the report of shots fired, a shooting suspect was located and taken into custody at Washington and Orange. He has been identified as 17-year-old Jalen Dwayne Edgar. He was previously arrested for grand theft in 2023. This is still an active investigation. As we gather more information, we'll provide you with another update. So as you can see from this video, downtown's a very busy night. Halloween is one of our busiest nights of the year. Always is. Usually the Halloween night itself is busy, and then the Saturday after Halloween is always almost just as busy. We're doing anywhere from 50 to 100,000 people. As you can see from the picture, the crowd's gigantic, and this is just on Orange Avenue. So we're dealing with a very, very large crowd. During this night, we had about 100 officers who were working in detail, spread out, and as you can see in all the videos, the officers responded very quickly. The officers did a great job. They responded right when they heard the shooting. You know, as everybody else is running, they're not. They're sitting in a position looking for a shooter. They found a shooter, and they took him down. But right now, I'll take your questions.
Do you have any idea about the motive behind it?
No, we have the suspect. Of course, that'll be a part of our investigation, part of the interview process. As you can see, it was very quick. There wasn't a lot of conversation, so we'll figure out if he knew him or not.
At one time, there was a ban on weapons in downtown around bars and so forth. Was that still in effect, or how did this weapon get in?
So, I guess you're talking about what we used to do, the closures, and we had the dogs and all that was going on downtown. That all went away with sort of the law changed. When the law changed, and basically you can carry a weapon on a public street as long as you don't meet certain criteria. As long as you meet certain criteria. So when that changed, we can no longer do that.
When the state law changed.
When the state law changed, you saw that we changed how we did downtown. We can no longer do the dogs and limit what we had downtown. I know law enforcement's always changing. We are working with the city, working with the clubs downtown to figure out if there's something else we can go to sort of keep it secure down there. As you can see, with that many people down there, we have no idea what people have, on their person, if they have grudges against somebody. Most people are down there to have a great time. And of course, you always get those few people who come down there who have different things on their mind.
Are the victims known, or are they considered random to the suspect?
We're unsure of that. We're still doing an investigation. He's still being interviewed.
And not in the club itself. Was any of these clubs equipped with any of the metal detectors? Was he frequenting any of the clubs downtown?
No, we pretty much watched him come from where he parked his car and went into, and we didn't see him going to any clubs. He pretty much walked into downtown, walked up the street, and did what he did.
What type of weapon was recovered?
A handgun.
Do you know the information on that?
No, not right now. We'll release that later. It'll be a part of the investigation.
Fired shots, or were there other shots fired by officers?
No officers fired any shots. We believe he's the only suspect right at this time whose shots were fired from.
Can you speak to the degree your law enforcement officers were acting? That law enforcement officer sees the suspect, identifies them, and immediately takes him to the ground. Kind of talk the mindset of what your law enforcement officers are encountering in downtown Orlando.
So, in downtown Orlando, but throughout the whole city, and throughout anywhere with law enforcement officers, they're always trained, they're always ready to act. As soon as they heard the shots fired, You can watch any of these videos. None of the officers, went the other way. They didn't go with the crowd. Most of them, got a little bit of cover between them. They started scanning, seeing what was going on, and then they moved. They took action to keep everybody else safe, and that's what these officers do, and that's their job, and they did it, and I'm very proud of them.
How was it they identified him as the suspect? Did they see the shot actually being fired at the Washington?
The officers saw the second shots being fired at Washington. Nobody saw the first one on Central. We used the cameras, of course, to see that, play it back, because we have that capability playing back at the major intersections. We played the camera back, saw the shooting happen. We put out his description right away, but then officers saw the second shooting happen. Because, you saw there was like 5 officers right there looking in that direction when he came up and started shooting. And he shot multiple people right there.
Can you talk about that, just how brazen this guy is? There are police officers everywhere. He still has...
Yeah, whatever his mindset was, he was going to shoot no matter what. He walked by multiple officers. We followed where he came from. He walked by at least 10 officers. Walked directly by them, kept moving past the officers. So he knew what he was going to do, what he thought in his mind was going to do. It's unfortunate. Some people see somebody they don't like, somebody that they have some sort of beef with, and they take whatever action they're going to take.
To your point, when he was walking by that first initial video that you showed us, he almost walks by the victim and then leans back and points back, fires a shot, and then takes off. Are you guys investigating whether or not he may have known this person had been following him around that evening?
Yeah, that's a big part of what we're looking at. Did he know him? Did he just happen to stumble across somebody who's one of his enemies for whatever reason? So that's all a part of the case. But he definitely, you saw him, he looked back, saw him, walked by him, he knew exactly who he saw, shot quickly, and then moved out.
Did it look like, to be clear, was one person who died at the first scene and the second person at the second scene?
Yes.
And did it look like he followed people from the first scene to the second one, or did he just happen to see people at the second scene?
I think he just ran into the second scene because he ran down Court Street, came back up an alley, and popped back out. So, and there were people still just walking and running in different directions. Unless that person just happened to be there, from what we saw, he was walking, he was walking deliberately on Court Street, not really following anybody until he saw what he was looking for when he popped back out on Orange.
Twice he saw people, possibly saw people.
Yeah. But that's all part of our investigation. We'll be looking at all that kind of stuff and see, what it's about.
We see that the state attorney's here tonight, and we're dealing with a 17-year-old suspect with very serious type of criminal activity taking place. Do you or the state attorney want to comment on anything like that?
As far as, we definitely make the arrests. Of course, juveniles do things like this, and we give the case to the state attorney, and he does, he handles it and does a great job with it and decides how we're going to prosecute. It's up to him if he wants to say anything about that. He's more than welcome to.
Tell us about the victims, male, female.
I don't have the information now. We'll get it all to you, but I know the victims they range all from 19 to 39 years old.
All right. Good morning, everyone. So we received a call shortly after the scene was secured. My chief of homicide is down there working with OPD and their detectives, and so this is just part of the collaborations that we put forth in our administration to make sure that we respond quickly to the needs of our community. Obviously, our thoughts and prayers are with the several victims that we have tonight, and so we're going to do our job to make sure that we secure justice for those victims.
Obviously, very early stages, but with a situation like this, 2 people dead, the magnitude of people out there, would you be looking to try this juvenile as an adult?
Yeah, we're definitely something that's on the table. Obviously, from the multiple victims and the brazen nature of the crime, there's several aggravating factors and that will fit inside the matrix to charge him as an adult. But we have to get to completion of the investigation first, get the case turned over to us, and then we'll take appropriate action at that point.
The chief talked about a previous arrest for the suspect. Do you have any information about that? And did he go through the system already? Had he been adjudicated?
I'm not sure about it yet. Like I said, I received a call at 2:30 this morning. Was woken up and got dressed and came out here to make sure that we're going to do our job.
This is a uniform we're not used to seeing you in. How did you prepare for this call when you got it, and what did you think and what did you do?
So you got reported as a mass shooting. So we have certain protocols for me as the chief executive of the agency. So I got put on what I'm told to put on for that situation. But this is, we're ready to respond. So that's kind of my whole tactic. So I prepare myself to respond if I need to.
Do you think this suspect will be charged as an adult or a child or minor?
I think that, like I said again, based on the current information we have right now, there's several aggravating factors that would lead us to charge him as an adult, but we need to get to the bottom of the investigation first to figure out what exactly is the reason why this happened, which also plays a role in what type of charges that he's going to be facing later on.
This seems to all be coming to fruition quickly. How important is the communication and collaboration between both police department and your officer?
It's essential. I think Chief did a press conference some weeks ago. I think you were clearing at 100% of the homicides, and that's based a lot on the collaboration between my office and the OPD. Our ability to work early on in those investigations, advise and make sure that we're not missing anything and that we're making, quick, clear arrests and solving cases makes our community safer. So that's part of one of the things I really wanted to get our agency up and running when I came into office last year.
Chief Smith, you mentioned that Halloween night and the Saturday after is usually one of your busiest nights. So any preparation already kind of going on to put extra patrol out tomorrow night or just kind of essentially prevent you something like this again?
Well, we will definitely look at if we need to add other officers, but we're almost at 100 now. So, I mean, we have officers pretty much, as you can see, on every block, multiple officers on every block, bike patrols in between, our TAC units that are driving in the parking garages looking for, suspicious activity. We think we do a very good job. Our last major shooting was right before it began, about 2 years ago, with multiple people casualties. So, I mean, downtown's very challenging, but the officers work very hard. But we will definitely meet and look and see if we can add any more resources to the next couple of days just to get through, especially Saturday night, to get us through Saturday night.
Chief, you've taken so many steps over the years since you've become the chief and taken a pretty strong stance on security in downtown Orlando. What do you have to say to the parents that are out there that a 17-year-old is out with a firearm on Halloween night? Community tends to put this responsibility on law enforcement, but at the end of the day, the suspect came from a home somewhere. Can you talk on that a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, this is something that we can't do alone. I mean, I could put 200 officers down there, and like you saw in the video, he walked by multiple officers. He didn't really care. So it does start outside of what my job is. It starts, and I don't want to say it starts in the home, but it starts in our community coming together to work together and figure out a better way for people to solve their problems, because it's just one of those kind of things that we all know shooting people solves nothing. This person right here threw away his life. For what? For some little beef or whatever's going to come out in the investigation. We all know it's not going to be the most serious thing in the world when you take somebody's life. So it's one of those kind of things we need everybody's help, but we'll continue to do what we do. We'll continue to provide heavy security downtown and have a large presence and be ready for anything that comes.
Do you think, together this video surveillance, can you tell if there was any kind of altercation leading up to this, or where was his path? Where was he coming from, and how long was he downtown?
So we're going to release all that. He actually wasn't downtown that long before this happened. But the good thing about our surveillance system, we have a way of, we pretty much can see where he came from, where he walked to, who he met up with, any conversations that happened, and sort of tell by how long they're standing in front of each other what actually happened. So all it's going to come. That's part of investigation. It's all going to come out in the next day or so. There'll be more updates. There are more videos, so we'll be releasing those. We do have to clean some videos up. We have to notify next of kin in a lot of cases. Our hearts do go out to the victims. It's a terrible tragedy that happened, but we do have to notify next of kin, and there'll be more videos that we can release and get it all out to you, including his history and everything on him, the suspect.
Two more questions, that's it. You mentioned 2 deaths, but there's 6 other people who were injured. Were they shot by the suspect?
Yes, they were shot by the suspect. They're at ORMC. The last report we got was that they're all in stable condition so far.
Innocent bystanders?
We assume, but it's hard to tell because he was in such a big crowd right there. It's hard to say who his actual target was.
Are they cooperating?
The victims? I'll have to find out about that. I'm not sure. I know most of them. We did get information from them, but a lot of this we had officers witness what happened, which is a lot easier for us for testimony. Then of course, we have the cameras and all that, so it's a lot easier. But we will talk to everybody like we always do and get their statements and exactly what happened.
But male, female victims?
We'll get all that to you. I know it's a mix. All right. Have a great night.
All right, there you have it. We did learn some information there from the Orlando police chief, and we also got a look at some of the video, that is body cam video, as well as video coming in from cameras that are located nearby. The time now 6 o'clock on the East Coast and 3 o'clock on the West Coast. My name is Josh Breslow, and I'm here for the next several hours to bring you all of your top stories and breaking news from across the country and across the world. I do want to head to our Fox 35 Orlando team live coverage, as they are covering the latest on this mass shooting in downtown Orlando, Florida. Again, we know that 8 people were shot, 2 of them dead, and 6 others taken to a hospital, listed there in stable condition. That is according to the police chief there. A 17-year-old suspect now in custody, and in some of that body camera video, you can actually see him tackled by officers after 2 separate reports of gunfire. Again, it looks like our Fox 35 Orlando team is in their coverage, so let's pop up the audio and listen in.
Breaking news.
And 5 to 8, we do start with the breaking news this morning. That shooting in busy downtown Orlando during Halloween celebrations, ending with 2 dead and multiple victims.
And 6 others were injured. We are getting some new details coming into our newsroom right now. And of course, throughout the course of the morning, we're also hearing from the people who saw it happen.
It was really loud. Everybody was scared. Everybody was running in multiple directions.
And we have team coverage across downtown this morning.
Fox 35's Amanda McKenzie live outside the Orlando Police Department headquarters. Marley Capper is in live downtown Orlando. We'll check in with both of them. Good morning. Very busy morning here on a Friday morning. I'm Ryan Elijah.
Hi, everybody. It is good to see you this morning. I'm Danielle Knox. Let's go ahead right now and get out to that breaking news that is happening in downtown Orlando by turning things over to Marley Capper, who is live out there at the scene this morning. And I know, Marley, as I see the crime scene tape there behind you, the scene is still fairly active this morning.
Good morning to you both. It's definitely still an active scene. We have confirmed with Orlando police that there are 8 victims. 2 people have died. 6 people are hurt. They are in stable condition recovering at ORMC Hospital. They age between 19 years old and 39 years old. The suspect has been arrested. Police tell us he's 17 years old. I'm on the corner of Orange and Jefferson, just 1 block away from where this happened at Orange and Washington. You guys can take a look at my photographer's camera here and still see those evidence markers and crime scene tape up there. But I want you guys to take a look at this video on your screen. This is what police showed us during a press conference around 4 in the morning. Take a look at the blur on your screen. Right by the blur is where you can see the suspect shoot into the crowd and see people run away. Then take a look at this video. When the suspect shoots into the crowd a second time, you can see 2 police trucks lined up. The suspect is in a yellow shirt, runs around the trucks. You can see it in the bottom right corner of your screen there. Police swiftly take him down. And lastly, I want to show you guys this video of thousands of people running for their lives. It's estimated between 50,000 to 100,000 people were here in downtown for Halloween celebrations. We talked to several people. Here's what one man had to say he heard.
Crazy. Okay, we were in a club and we heard gunshots. Bop, 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 bop. That's all I heard. And then everybody started running. That's all the security was like, run, 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 run.
Very frightening to hear and to see that. I talked to several people. One woman said she had to hide beneath a bar. She was a bartender. Another woman said she was on a balcony when she heard all of this happen and saw all of the people run. This is the scene on your screen right now. It's much quieter since, but like I mentioned, we still can see those evidence markers, crime scene tape. We've seen the crime scene investigations unit here. Officers are posted up all around downtown. They're blocking the streets off from Robinson to Church Street off of Orange. So 5 or 6 blocks that are completely blocked off to the public. It's left people hours without being able to get to their cars. Now, when we got here around 2 a.m. this morning, there was still people walking around in their Halloween costumes. We saw some people crying, rightfully so. Some people panicking, trying to see if their friends could come pick them up because they couldn't reach their car. Lots of chaos going on this morning. It's much calmer now. But if you're just joining, I want to restate that information that we have confirmed with police. 8 people have been injured. 2 people died. 6 people were injured. And those people are at ORMC Hospital in stable condition. But for now, we'll send things back to you.
Marley will continue to follow this story, of course, with our live team coverage that continues right now. We're turning things over to the Fox 35's Amanda McKenzie, who is live at the Orlando Regional Medical Center, where the 6 injured victims were taken. Amanda, good morning.
Yes, unfortunately, 6 of those 8 total victims were transported here to the emergency room at ORMC, and there are several Orlando police officer vehicles parked right outside of the emergency room behind me. We're told that those victims ranging in age between 19 and 39 years old. One of the questions I asked the Orlando Police Chief Eric Smith was, were these victims known to the suspected shooter? He said he couldn't say for certain right now, since that is all under investigation, and right now they are still working to piece together several videos from surveillance cameras as well as police body-worn cameras. But he did say that they are going to be releasing those videos later this morning with more detail into what led up to that mass shooting. This is a 17-year-old suspect that they were able to arrest. They say that the teen was not in downtown long before opening fire. There were as many as 100,000 people in downtown when shots broke out, and more than 100 officers were working detail. Several officers were just feet away from the gunman when the shooting happened and were able to capture him and take him into custody. Here's what Orlando Police Chief Eric Smith had to say about the instant response.
As soon as they heard the shots fired, you can watch any of these videos. None of the officers, went the other way. They didn't go with the crowd. Most of them, got a little bit of cover between them. They started scanning, seeing what was going on, and then they moved. They took action to keep everybody else safe, and that's what these officers do, and that's their job, and they did it, and I'm very proud of them.
Now, it's also important to note that no officers fired their weapons in this instance, so all of the gunfire was limited to just that one suspect that they were able to take into custody quickly, that 17-year-old. We're also told that he has a criminal history. Just last year in 2023, he was charged with grand theft, so we're told by the state attorney that that will be one of the aggravating factors that goes into consideration on whether to charge this 17-year-old suspect as an adult or a minor. So far, police have not released a motive for this shooting that left 2 people dead and 6 others injured on that busy Halloween night. Reporting live in downtown Orlando, Amanda McKenzie, Fox 35 News.
Amanda, thanks. Of course, loyal viewers know this has been about a 2-year deal since we had that shooting. I think the biggest change this time, they had all the officers down there. They were able to make an arrest right away.
Absolutely, which is some good news there in spite of all of the tragedy that happened downtown. And we, of course, will stay on top of this throughout the course of the morning. But first, we do want to go ahead and get on over to...
All right, that was our Fox 35 Orlando team with their team coverage. We are going to be checking in with them all throughout the morning as we do gather the latest details. Now, if you are just joining us, I do want to go over what we know so far here, as this is coming out of Orlando, Florida, in the heart of downtown. And this is some of the body camera video released by police, but also camera from nearby businesses and street corners that did catch it. Police Chief Eric Smith saying that officers were called out to a report of gunfire just after 1 o'clock this morning. That is local time, so Eastern time. And then just minutes later, more gunfire. Police say that people were running at that point. This was a large crowd that was gathered there in downtown for a Halloween party of sorts. We're talking hundreds of people as you see them running in that video there. Now, according to police, we know there were 8 people shot and 2 of them have been pronounced dead. The other 6 were taken to a hospital, and the chief says they are considered quote unquote stable. We do know the suspect is a 17-year-old boy, and we're told that he was previously arrested for grand theft just last year. As you heard Amanda McKenzie saying, as of this moment, it is not clear if the victims knew the suspect here or if he was firing randomly. So still a lot left to figure out at this point. If there is another news conference here, we'll make sure to bring it to you live, raw, and unfiltered. That is what we do here on Live Now from Fox. In the meantime, the time is 6:08 on the East Coast and 3:08 on the West Coast. We do have to head to our final 2-minute commercial break of the hour, but a lot more news to get to in just a matter of minutes. You're watching Live Now from Fox. It is Friday, November 1st. My name is Josh Breslow, and we will be right back.